It's What You Missed news, ladies and gentlemen. It's Monday, and you missed quite a bit over the weekend. So, yeah, I brought back a fan favorite, Sharko-Mario, for the host. No, I did not just tape the hat onto the shark head, okay? This is an advanced costume, ladies and gentlemen. It took a lot of money to produce something like this, so please don't you dare comment in the comment section below that I taped this hat on a shark. Clearly, I did not do that. Hope you had a great weekend. And to start things off, Street Fighter V and Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite producer has left Capcom. Now, when producers leave places, generally speaking, it's not a good thing. Even if they're just retiring, because that leaves a gap that needs to be filled, a void. And a lot of the time, the person who fills that gap is either not up to snuff or does things differently. This individual seems to be leaving because they felt it was time to let the next generation take over. Okay, cool. So they felt like it was time to leave and let the next generation do things possibly differently in their own way and put new spins on things. Sweet, great. All right, but this game wasn't that good. A lot of people didn't really like it. A lot of people had issues and problems with Street Fighter V as well, so it would seem that the Street Fighter series is going downhill, and it's rather unfortunate. And seeing this producer leave, it would also seem that it's going downhill a lot quicker than a lot of people would have already previously assumed. Let's hope that's not the case, and that Capcom and Street Fighter series don't become the next victims of something similar to Resident Evil or Mega Man. So, Assassin's Creed Origins, microtransactions. Everything you need to know. Excuse me, pardon me, IGN, the only thing I need to know is that they're not in the game. Or if they are, because if they are, I'm probably not going to buy the game unless I really like that game series. Now, with that said, microtransactions are crap. I think we all know how I feel about microtransactions, so I really don't have to go into that matter, okay? But here's how they do them in Assassin's Creed. Basically, you can spend $250 to get legendary items with special perks and abilities, but they say that regular items and whatever you pick up in the regular world anyways is about the same degree of what you would be getting if you were spending money on it. I guess it's like Diablo 3's auction house. You guys remember that? If you don't know it, go ahead and look it up and you'll see what I'm talking about. And the long and the short of it is that you can get a lot of cosmetic items and items that reduce the amount of time that you would have to wait, and you can buy money. So essentially, Assassin's Creed Origins is a video game on a console, on a PC, that is taking free-to-play game elements and shoving them into the game also to see how it works. Ladies and gentlemen, if you keep buying these microtransactions, they aren't magically going to go away. You can make the cosmetic argument all you want, but again, I would challenge you to argue with me how the game would not benefit from having all of this stuff as just unlockable without the ability to use real money to buy digital items. Again, digital items will fade. Everything fades with time. And then ultimately, you just lose the items because, hey, you can't physically trade them in at GameStop or something, even though you would only get pennies on the dollar, but at least you would have something physically to show for the money you spend. Oh, do you know what CEOs are doing when they put microtransactions in games? Here, I'll give you a preview. They're actually buying in-game items. They actually spent $2.50 on an in-game sword. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Have fun spending money on digital in-game items you'll never see any return for. Wolfenstein 2 Collectible mocks Progressive magazine over its coverage of white nationalists. Why are video games getting political so much? So in the game itself, it says, meet the dapper young KKK leader with a message of hope. And then what ended up happening is that there was a guy, and it says, meet the dapper white nationalist riding the Trump wave. And that's Mother Jones that tweeted that out, ladies and gentlemen. So you can take a look at these two things and compare them. They're very closely related. Who knows if that's really what's going on with it? I mean, really, at the end of the day. It's kind of silly, to say the least, that they're putting this political agenda into Wolfenstein 2. I've always said that it's just marketing and they're riding the wave of punch a Nazi and anti-Nazism, but maybe there is much more deep political roots into the game. I mean, well, of course, you know, it is an anti-Nazi video game, so it wouldn't really surprise me to have things that are happening of this time. Like, it would be kind of silly to not put Hitler in an anti-Nazi game, or at least reference him in any way, shape, or form. He existed in the real world, he exists in video games. It's silly to not put that in there. A lot of people don't want their video games to be politicized because there's usually two sides, and most people don't even care about either side. It's usually the righteous who are extreme on one side or the other that really want these things to be put in one side or another. And yeah, I don't really agree with Nazism either. I just rather not have current political situations be put in a video game so that 20 years later I can go back and play it and say, oh, this is a great game, instead of saying, oh yeah, this was happening during that time. Dota is being sponsored by Mercedes. Dota! Look, I know, man. I understand that there's companies out there that will sponsor tournaments like Red Bull, you know. Okay, that makes sense. You're playing a video game, get you an energy drink, drink it up. Okay, cool. Right, that makes sense. But Mercedes, really? Yeah. So apparently there's a team that rolled out in Mercedes-Benz when they arrived at the tournament, and this is a sponsorship from Mercedes. Can I get a Mercedes sponsorship? Can Sharko Mario get a frickin' Mercedes? I got a Dodge Challenger, folks. I really don't need one. But at the end of the day, it would be really nice to be sponsored by Mercedes. They just don't, you know, this is as crazy as when Mercedes put in a car for Mario Kart. You know, it was like, what? Okay, fine, sure, but what? You know? Surgeon Simulator devs say that they'll cancel the next game if it does not get enough players during the free weekend. There's a game called Deck Splash, and it's going to be the first of its kind in an experiment. If 100,000 people play it during that time span, the studio will release the Splatoon but with skateboards competitive game in early access, and if not, it gets the axe. This is really dumb. That's really stupid. That's November 2nd. This is on the heels of Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein 2, and other games like Assassin's Creed Origins. And you're telling people, hey, you know what? Put all those great AAA games on pause. Play our game or we won't release it. How about that? Woo! We're holding this game hostage, all right? If you don't get 100,000 people to play this game, you won't ever see this game again. I promise you. You better play the game. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is testing servers to bring long-awaited vaulting and climbing into the game. Not much to this article. You can climb in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds soon, so I guess it'll be more like Breath of the Wild, an open-world survival game where you get to kill other people and try and be the last one alive with climbing. Yay. It's a good feature. Bungie, one of my least favorite companies, has laid out plans to make Destiny 2 better. Hey, Bungie! Hey! Whew! Hang on there, Bungie. How about you start off by unbanning all of those people on PC that you wrongfully banned, instead of going out and saying, oh, we're gonna do all this great stuff to Destiny 2. Hey, by the way, don't worry about those people that were accidentally falsely banned on PC. That whole carpet ban, that didn't happen, okay? Look over here at these beautiful new features we're gonna put in the video game. Don't look over here at all these people burning the forums to the ground, talking about I can't play the game I paid $60 for. Don't worry, don't look over there. Look over here, folks. Over here. Oh, look at these shiny keys. If I had a set of keys, I'd shake them right now, but I don't feel like getting mine. Anyways, the improvements include things that you would really end up expecting. There's new emotes, continued improvements to Iron Banner, faction rallies, uniqueness of rewards. They're going to reduce the duplications and exotics. They're going to modify the economy, make it more interesting and impactful, whatever that might mean. Talk about World of Warcraft wannabe over here. There's a lot of small things here. Shockingly enough, basically it's just connection, balance, and rewards. That's all it is, folks. You can look at the notes, you can look at everything, but remember, if you're playing on PC, you might randomly be banned for no reason. Finally, we're concluding these sets of news stories with some great news, which is Nintendo is fighting itself for the best reviewed game of the year. Okay, so according to Metacritic, if Nintendo doesn't win Game of the Year for several of these games, I would be extremely surprised, because Mario Odyssey is sitting with a 97, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on Switch is sitting at 97, and the Breath of the Wild on the Wii U is sitting at 96. That's number 1, 2, and 3. The best games of the year. Then we have Divinity Original Sin 2 with a 93, and Persona 5 with a 93. It's interesting that there's a clear 5-point gap between Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, and the other 2 games that are not Nintendo. Hey, Nintendo haters! Hey, Nintendo haters! Hey, you remember how Nintendo's got no good games? It's just recycled crap. It's just recycled trash. Hey, Nintendo haters! Where you at? Where you at, fam? What's up? Where you at? Huh? The top 3 games are Nintendo games, and 2 of them are the same game! Raffle. Anyways, that's not really poking at Nintendo haters, alright? We know Nintendo's had problems in the past, and they're doing much better. So, good for them. Thumbs up. Hope they do better. At the end of the day, probably Mario Odyssey. Who says Mario Odyssey's not going to win? Probably Zelda Breath of the Wild if Mario Odyssey doesn't win. If it's some ridiculous game out of left field, well, I wouldn't really be surprised. Game journalists are pretty crappy. They'll promote a politically correct social justice warrior game over Mario Odyssey and give it an award over Mario Odyssey because, man, we gotta make people feel better about themselves. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. I had fun with this episode. I hope you did too. Leave me a big like if you enjoyed this episode. Leave me a dislike if you disliked it and tell me what I can do better in the future. And I've been your host, Sharko Mario, and I will see you next time in What You Missed News. Hope you guys have a great week.